Hey there, good morning. I am John. Today is Thursday, February 23rd, 2023. Was that 2/23/23? Yeah. If I still wrote checks, that's how I'd date my check today, 2/23/23. This is my daily vlog, my stand-up where I just kind of give an update to those who are following, curious about what I'm doing since I was laid off several years ago from my longtime job. But rather than looking for a regular job, trying to turn content creation, my longtime hobby, into a sustainable pseudo career. We'll see how that's going, right? Just a few months into this experiment. Let's go ahead and get started with an update from yesterday. Looking back at the end of yesterday, I felt like I didn't get much done, but because I document things on my calendar, how I spend my time, so I can look back and see, what did I do that day? I got a lot done, actually, so I feel pretty good about that. I think I created 4 short videos out of our podcast video, the vertical sub 60-second things. I have a couple more of those I want to create probably before I'm wrapped up with this episode. Today, of course, speaking of the podcast, is podcast day. It's Thursday morning. A brand new episode just dropped. Anywhere you get podcasts, of course, search for GenXGrownUp. I never hear anyone in this vlog comment area say they listen to the podcast, and I would be curious to know if anybody does, or curious why you don't if you don't. I mean, an answer could say absolutely be, I don't care. That's fine. I don't listen to podcasts, that kind of thing, or I tried it, it's not for me, or whatever. But I know it's a huge part of what we do, and it's one of the branches of the tree, and I talk a lot about creation of videos here. But I mean, the pod is really, I think it's where people get to know us best. It's where people kind of understand the flavor of GenXGrownUp, and it's, I think, where we make the most connections with people. So it's a huge important part of it. So I hope you're listening. If you're not, give it a try. If you do, suggest it to somebody else. You know the drill. Grow, right? I recorded the 1980s Now episode last night. We did. Had a meeting with a consultant, chatted with her a little bit about upcoming projects that we're doing. It was a very productive day, despite feeling like I had trouble getting started, but that's kind of how it always goes. Once I sit down, I'm like, here's something to do, and I actually get it done. And I'll talk about that consultant thing, not the call so much, but there's something else about it in a second. Let's talk about today. Today, I've laid the groundwork for today. I know what to do. Yesterday, I shot all the stand-up portions of a longer form video that is loosely related back to the CES stuff in January. I had the thumbnail ready. I shot the stand-ups. I did some prep and writing. I just have to do the work at the table and do the editing. Like I've said many times, just do the editing. It's a long part, but that's the mechanical part. Like, once I have the footage in the can, the editing just happens. There's nothing slows me down. It's getting in front of the camera, getting in here, getting started, getting written, all that stuff. That stuff is done. I got one more little shoot to do, then edit. Maybe I'll get that out today if I'm lucky. If not, nothing wrong with a Friday morning release. Those are traditionally great for us. So we'll see how that goes. One or the other will release today or tomorrow. What else do I have to do today? It's Thursday. Oh, a new episode of Picard. Have to watch that. Picard Season 3 is shaping up pretty well, actually. Rotten Tomatoes says it's great, and as a longtime Star Trek nerd, I'm excited now to see this next episode. So it dropped last night, and so I'll watch it with my wife when she gets off work. We'll sit down and watch the latest episode. I want to talk really briefly about having a meeting. I was talking with a friend at lunch yesterday about meeting brain, how I have this thing where, since I've no longer had a regular job, right, I no longer have, let me tell you, I used to have meetings like 8-9 hours a day, solid block. Maybe it was like a 30-40 minute break in a couple of places, but I would get up 8:30 in the morning, a call overseas with these people, a call with these people, and then when you get to the afternoon, talk to people on the West Coast, and your calendar is packed, and it's just, especially since the pandemic, when everyone went remote, I think people thought they weren't getting anything done unless they were on a conference call. And in reality, that's the time when they don't get anything done. You plan things when to actually do work. So, and because I was, a pseudo manager, everybody wanted the manager on their conference call, and so you really don't ever get a chance to do anything. And I'm also the kind of person who, when say it's 10 and there's a conference call at 10:30, I can't mentally get started doing anything at 10 because I know that there's not enough time for me to focus on it in that 30 minutes. Maybe there is, but in my brain there's not, so I can't get started. And so that time is wasted. And I had this call with a consultant last night at 5 o'clock, and it was like, starting at 2 o'clock, I felt like I couldn't get stuff started because 3 hours away, that's ridiculous, I know, but in my brain, I'm like if I get focused on something and I'll get distracted, it's just that in my head, I knew that there was this finite cutoff, and it's hard for me to get started when there's a meeting later. So like morning meetings are probably better for me in general, because you get up and do that and get it out of the way. But anytime I have an appointment, any time in my day, I feel like it's constraining my day. And that's a lesson that I learned probably in, corporate real job America, kind of, or probably as a side effect of that and the way my brain works. But I found myself falling into that trap of knowing that a meeting was coming up in the day, and I just couldn't get started. But I did try to crush that. I spent some of that time editing short videos yesterday because those take maybe 20 minutes or so to make one. So I knew that it's something I could start and maybe finish in that amount of time, because I knew I couldn't start an open-ended task. My brain wouldn't allow me to do that. I knew I couldn't focus on it. It wouldn't be done well. I'm just curious, and I don't know if that's just me or like, how do you react when there are meetings coming up? I always have this feeling that, that 10:30 meeting or whatever I'm talking about, I'll get there and I'll tell people, hey, if you want to start early, that's cool. I would rather begin early and finish early than wait for the appropriate time and start it, because that time between now and when it starts is dead time to me quite often. So just, I guess, again, how my mind works, how I deal with it. Just a little interesting anecdote and something that popped up in my head yesterday from working and observing and remembering what it was like when you had meetings all day long. So, okay, hey, time for me to get busy today. I think I'm gonna have a good day. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Thank you so much for stopping and checking out the vlog today. If you did, if you're here every day, I love you for that. Thank you so much for your dedication. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Do something great for yourself if you can, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.